afternoon, or evening, or morning, depending on where you are in the world. I am Bruce Leonard, of course. Thank you for tuning in to another hour of Bruce Leonard Leans Left while it's still legal. It's Tuesday, May 26th, and a lot of stuff is going on. Trump was surrendering and then decided not to surrender because Republicans were freaking out. It's a peace deal, but then he bombed them again. Which they called defensive strikes. So apparently we have to defend ourselves against the military that we have already obliterated. Iran's annihilated military, a little stronger than previously reported. Apparently, if we have to defensive strike them, that's like. So here's what happened. If you're not aware, Trump, he gave that speech the other day. They said the deal was done. That they were going to sign this deal. The war was going to end. It was going to be a 30 or 60-day negotiating period. And that was it. And then you talk to Benjamin Netanyahu. Then all of a sudden, deal's on. Well, the deal's on, but now you have to sign the Abraham Accords and make a peace deal with Israel, all the countries in the Middle East. That's like, of course they're not going to fucking do that. Where did that come from? Remember when they gave Trump all that money? Again, just like I was talking about before. Hey, Laura, you're listening in the car. That's cool. Does it sound okay? Where did that come from? The other countries signed the Abraham Accords, making peace deals with Israel was not part of the original deal. And we remember we weren't at war for Israel. Remember, Israel don't have nothing to do with this. It's amazing the bullshit that they expect you to believe. And how can you make any deal with Donald Trump when he changes every day what he says? And people are like, "Oh, you can't expect Iran to negotiate in good faith." Like, you expect Trump to negotiate in good faith? Trump has bumblefucked this whole thing from the beginning. There is no plan. I hope you know this. No plan. And while this is all going on, somehow he still has the time to walk around with the pictures of his ballroom and to build a 5,000-seat UFC fight behind the White House and to paint the reflecting pool and to build an triumphal arch that he's trying to build now. Like, he has time to do all this stuff, but in the meantime, you're paying money out the ass for gas. And there's no end in sight. Every time he says
YouTube is quietly killing your views, and
every time he says YouTube is quietly killing my views, that's probably true. I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know what the fact that, like I said, that they expect you to believe this bullshit. And the fact that people just keep going on like the guy is nuts. Don't you get this? The president of the United States is completely insane. And no one seems to care. They ramble on and say whatever. You're like, it's complete ridiculous bullshit. Today he says something, tomorrow he says something else. Oh, they're begging to make a deal. They've been begging. Well, if they're begging to make a deal, then why don't you make a fucking deal? Aren't you the deal guy? Like, art of the deal guy? Like, that's what you've always said. Where's the fucking deal? It's like, and then they said that there was a call with all the leaders of all the Arab countries, the Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, all these countries. And he says to them, you got to sign this peace deal with Israel. And he said the line went dead silent for so long that Trump had to ask, are you guys still there? Yes, Jamie, we're talking about Trump right now. Well, Iran. No. This is what I don't understand about this country is the whole world economy is suffering because of this dumb fuck. And instead of getting down to business and making a deal and opening up the strait again and getting everything back to fucking normal, he's walking around with pictures of his ballroom, talking about there was a shooting or some crazy guy outside the White House. What's up? I can't read your name, but hello from Russia. Yes. MacPo will call you. No, I do not, Jamie. I do not support the dumb motherfucker. That's what we're talking about. It's like, how could this have happened? How could this guy become the most powerful man in the world? He doesn't know how to do anything, and he's fucking stupid. He's fucked up everything. And nobody seems to care. Nobody seems interested in doing anything about it. We're just going to keep on pretending like everything's okay. Everything is not okay. And all this other stuff is dropped off the radar. Like in New Jersey right now, there's a hunger strike going on inside the ICE facility where detainees are kept in inhumane conditions. Because I don't know if you saw this. They went around. Remo is from Argentina. Hey, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. But they went around and they bought all these warehouses. They're just warehouses. They're not jails. They're warehouses. So I don't know if you saw how like Alligator Alcatraz was or whatever. But they're just gonna put them cages inside of these warehouses, and they're just packing people in there. And its conditions are so bad that people are killing themselves and shit. And nobody, like I said, this is all dropped off the radar because the Iran and all that stuff is like, dude, this stuff is still going on. This guy's a disaster of epic proportion. They bought a warehouse that was valued at $60 million for $130 million. And that's not even counting the renovation. That's just what they paid for the building. Over twice the market value, let's say. For an empty warehouse. You would think that you would get it underneath the price. You want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're doing shit like that? Like, fuck you. And today, they threw out in court, they found out that they rigged the grand jury to indict these people who were protesters against ICE. And the judge threw out the cases because of misconduct, basically. And also, all the experienced prosecutors have left the Justice Department. So like I told you before, they're just hiring people who passed the bar. So now you have a bunch of inexperienced lawyers who've never been in a courtroom, and they're prosecuting cases for the Justice Department. They said, the old phrase they say, you can indict a ham sandwich. Well, some of these indictments they can't even get. They're thrown out the indictment before it even happened because the grand jury wouldn't accept it because it's so. This country is a fucking joke. Paul Kissel says Rocor is circus. What does that mean? And like I said, in the meantime, this stalemate is still going on. The strait is closed. No oil is getting through. We're still paying $5 a gallon for gas. It's going to go higher than that, probably. And they did it again. They said the oil price dropped again when Trump said, oh, there's a deal. They keep falling for it. I don't know why they keep listening to him because, like I said, it's plain to see that he's full of shit at all times. Like I said, I trust at this point. I trust the Iranians more. I trust him when he says some shit. I go read what the Iranians said, and I trust that more. And that's sad because you can't trust them either. But they're more trustworthy than him. I never seen somebody. I mean, all of them. If inflation is up, they'll be like, no, it isn't. Meanwhile, like I said, we're the debt is higher than the GDP, and we're borrowing as of last week $160 billion a day just to operate. And he's fucking spending all that money over there in Iran. He's got fucking aircraft carriers off the coast of Cuba. He's spending money left and right. He's bombing the shit out of fishing boats in the Caribbean, which is totally illegal, by the way. Murder. They're murdering people. Pete Hegseth should go to trial for murder at some point. Like, because what they're doing is illegal. The Hague should put out a warrant for his arrest. And after he's Secretary of Defense, they should take him over there. He should stand trial. And then he can answer to questions of why he blew up all these fishermen. No, I'm not saying that they might not have had some of those guys had drugs on them, but it's documented fact. Some of these guys were just fishermen. And when they survived, they quietly just shuffled them back to their countries and buried this story. But there'll be stories coming out. There are survivors. So, I mean, there are stories now, but no one's paying attention to it. That's what I mean. It's the old Steve Bannon thing. Flood the zone, like they flood the zone with so much bullshit that you can't keep track of it all. So while this is going on, this is going on over here, this is going on over here, and you're like hard to focus on one thing. You're like a squirrel with ADD, trying to watch all this fucking news. It's like, and I don't know. Jamie, he's new. Feel free to chime in. This is a discussion show as well. Not just me rambling and ranting. But yeah, I mean, again, I asked the question the other day, what do we get out of this? Even Lindsey Graham was like, I don't understand if this is what we're doing. I don't understand why we even started this war. Exactly. No one knows. Except for Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. The problem with Netanyahu is Trump ain't got no stomach for it. He ain't gonna keep on going like Benjamin Netanyahu don't give a fuck. He just keep going. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. People hate him. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck about his popular opinion. He doesn't care. He's a right-wing fanatic, and he's gonna do what he's doing. But Trump, just a useful idiot. And with no spine. I said, he's not going to see this through. Because it's the only way out now. Like I said, there's only two ways out. You capitulate and give Iran what they want, or you fucking go in and invade and take down the regime. And we've been through that before. We know what happens. We might take down the regime, but then what? Now we own that. Now we stand there. We just stay there while they kill our dudes over and over and over and over until we get sick of it and leave. Like every other fucking war we've ever been in. The only question is, how long will we be there, and how many people will die? It's like we never win these fucking wars because you can't forcefully make people capitulate. That's what these people don't get. These strength people like Haig said, they're strength and warriors and warrior fighting. It's like that doesn't do nothing. All that does is make more enemies. Right? Diplomacy really is the only way to change. Or like I said, like Martin Luther King or Gandhi, where you just get the people on your side with your ideas. But we're not interested now because we don't really have any ideas, do we? That's why today, Brandon Gill, Brandon Gill, the Nazi fuck from Texas, he's a congressman from Texas, but he's always posting this looks like Nazi propaganda from the 30s. It's like pictures of white people at a picnic table or some shit. It's like, and you're like, this is the country that we want back. It's like from the 1950s or the 40s. Where women were quiet, stayed in the kitchen. If they said too much, you just slapped them around a little bit. That's the world they want to go back to, where black people do their place, they kept their head down. It's like, he's a congressman. He's posting this shit. Today he posted this picture and said it was like one of those lily white cartoon, some family having a barbecue, and he was like, if you want to come to America, you got to speak English and assimilate and revere our unique cultures. Like, unique culture? What's unique about you? What's drinking a few beers and slapping your wife around? It's like NASCAR, Leonard Skinner, Kid Rock. It's like our unique white American culture. Wrestling. It's like there's nothing unique about us. What's unique about America? What makes America unique? Right? The fact that we have all cultures here represented and sometimes smashed together like Tex-Mex. It's like that's what Musa says. I look like Glenn from the Blacklist. I never watched those shows, but thank you. That's not the James Spader character, obviously, because I don't look like James Spader. That's like no one really looks like James Spader, do they? He's like a weird looking, unique looking dude. It's like you ever hear somebody go, that guy looks like James Spader. No. You don't see too many James Spader lookalikes. But anyway. Like I said, what's unique about America is that we have all cultures. And that sometimes, like I said, they blend together, like Tex-Mex, or or like Southern soul food cooking, or Louisiana cuisine. It's like French and Creole and all kinds of things mixed, Spanish, all mixed together. That's what makes America unique. See, these guys fucking don't get it. It's like the lily white fuck that listening to the Skinner playing Freebird over and over and over. There ain't nothing unique about that. Kid Rock shoot beer cans with his AR-15. Like that's not that. That's good old white American culture. You only get out of the tractor pool. It's like rodeo. Rodeo's not even hard. It's fucking Spanish. That's what I mean, is most of the things, like that guy's from Texas. He probably's a big rodeo fan. He probably has no idea. It's like, rodeo is really originated from, bullfighting in Spanish culture. And, they brought it over here to, when they came to America, and, and over the years, it's turned into the rodeo, and you go, what? I love this is white people stuff. The truth is, I said, you want to see white people culture? Turn on swamp people. And that's, even they're like Creole, kind of. They're not completely white. They live out down there to Bayou. It's like, which was a French territory. Most people don't know that either. Lee says I sound exactly like Glenn Quagmire. Everybody says that, and I would love to do it. I don't know how to get into the industry. I wish I knew how to break into the industry, because people have said that to me my whole life, and I know it's true. I got a weird voice. Laura says the Epstein files have conveniently fallen off the radar too. They have. They have. Except I have a feeling, I said, oh, Massey, he ain't going to go away quietly. Massey was on TV this weekend saying he was going to read all the names of the file, all the redacted names of the accused predators in the Epstein files. He's going to read them on the floor of the Congress. So he found a loophole. There's some kind of speaker's clause that a congressman cannot be prosecuted for what he says on the floor of the House or sued. He's free, got immunity. So before he leaves, he says he's going to read all these names. I think that Massey, Laura said he just declared he's running for the House of Representatives. Yeah, I thought that they were saying that he filed paperwork, but I thought they said it was for 2028. But I think that the funniest thing he could do is leave the Republican Party, become an independent, and run for his seat on this election against Gowron. Because a lot of Democrats and independents would come over and vote for him. Because Democrats are not going to win this district, no matter how much you would want them to. So if you're a Democrat or an independent and you voted for the Democrat against Ed Gowron is probably going to win. But if it was Massey and he has his Republican following and he could get the Democrats and the independents to vote for him, he could beat Gowron and win the seat back as an independent. And then he would definitely not be beholden to Donald Trump because by the time he had to run again, Trump be leaving office. It'd be the funniest thing ever. But I don't know if he's going to do that. They also say he's talking about running for president. Well, he wouldn't rule it out. He's going to run for president. I mean, he can't just go away now. He's super famous. Well, he wants to get to go back to fucking being an accountant or whatever it is that he was before. Once these people get a taste of the fame and the power, they're not just going to go away. And he's actually this is a good time for someone like him. This is a historic time, like where the Republican Party allowed their party to get taken over by a fucking, an idiot dictator. Wannabe Mussolini guy who has tried to bully his way into it is breaking law and stealing money left and right, and all these things. And the Republican Party doesn't know what to do about it because they've went along with it all this time. That's why I think it's funny now. They're talking about all these senators and Congress people that are in a bad spot. Oh, they're in a bad spot now because Trump ain't helping them. The midterms are coming, and like the very fact that they thought that he would help them, or that the very fact that they put up with all this shit at all. And they've let him shit all over him for 10 years now. They just take it. Well, he's getting to the end, like he only has 2 years left, or 2.5 years, I should say. And he's going to be gone for good, forever. He can't run for office again. Well, I mean, unless they're going to, I said, break that too. But I don't think that there's any chance that he'll get reelected because that's what's funny. When you watch this Massey thing, it shows you that it's a cult. Because Massey had massive support in this district until Trump went against him and said, vote for this guy that no one even knew who this guy is. The guy wouldn't debate. The guy wouldn't do anything. He made like 2 appearances, and both with Trump. And he gave like a 5-minute stump speech, and that was it. No one knows who this guy is. He's ever done anything. They don't know his positions. They don't know what he stands for. They just know that he's a groveling, pathetic nutlicker that will do anything Donald Trump tells him. And Donald Trump told people to vote for him, and they did. And a lot of these people turned on Massey. because Trump told him to. Because it's a cult, like I said. The 25 to 30% of mega people in this country is a cult. And they're fanatics. And they'll do anything that Trump tells them to do. Because the Gowron thing was proof. No one, like I said, no one knew who that guy is. Even the people that voted for him, they admit it in this group that I've been following, Northern Kentucky, whatever, on Facebook. Right? I watched their conversations. And a lot of them admitted they don't know who he is. They just trusted. I trust Trump and he tells me to vote for him. These are old boomers. The Republican primary voters, not young people, very many, only, the children of those people who are probably brainwashed. They might drag him along with him. You're going to vote for Gowron. I don't know who he is, Daddy. I don't give a shit. Trump told it. But they had even admitted they don't even know who the guy is. I said, the guy's never held office or anything like that. He's not a famous guy around here. They just pulled him out of the fucking... Ken says he's been watching Family Guy. He's on the 420 episode right now. Guy said I sound like Quagmire. I don't think I sound... I mean, I don't know. Maybe a little. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought about that. A lot of people say like Krusty the Clown or there things like that people have said over the years. But yeah. So it just tells you, like I said, that these people will do whatever. They're going to follow Donald Trump over a cliff. They're the people that you go, inflation's up. No, it isn't. Gas prices are high. They were higher under Biden. People still said Joe Biden. Now I don't know if you've noticed this online. There's a lot of Obama hate is back. I don't know why. It's like Obama, he's not even around. But do you still see all this stuff about Obama? Obama, the country was fine until Obama was elected. It's like, yeah, because it made the racists lose their fucking minds. That's when they drifted to the fascism. They were like, well, if he's gonna get a black democracy gets us a black president, we're going fascist. Constitution, fucking roll it up, throw it away. See, because even the system that they tried to set up to keep minorities from having power in the votes didn't work. Right? Obama was elected despite the Electoral College and all the other bullshit things that are set up to try to dilute the minorities' power. And that's when they started tripping. And that's when they started going, you need to have babies! We need more white babies! That's a weird thing to be fixated on, don't you think? I saw this other article that said the birth rates were going down all over the world. It's like, yeah, but look at this world. You want to bring kids into this world? Who fucking knows what's going to happen right now? Especially now, it's hanging on a string. And World War III could happen at any time. Somebody could shoot off a nuke or anything. It's like, you want to have fucking baby in this shit? I don't think so. Or not me. I'm so fucking glad I don't have no kids. I don't understand, like I said, this fascination. Like, we can't take care of these people who are here now. This world's a shithole. You go outside and look around. It's like there's homeless people everywhere and people suffered. Go to Gaza Strip or over there in Iran. Not too good, to go to Ukraine. It's pretty terrible, The other night, Russia or Putin shot a supersonic missile or a hypersonic, they said, missile with multiple detonators. So it broke into pieces and falls all over the city, right in the middle of the city. Not a military target or anything like that. And that's why I said before, too, about the international law. The international law is a fucking joke. Everybody's break international law now. They don't give two fucks because there's no consequences. There's, USA used to be the country that like, it was the threat of like, hey, if you get out of hand, you break international law, we might come kick your fucking ass. And so people didn't do it. But over the years, we've been pushed, haven't we? And when we did go to try to kick people's ass, we didn't. So no one's scared of us anymore. Although Russia should be scared because I said, you see this shit in Ukraine, like it ain't so easy. Like Russia tried to go to Afghanistan too in the 80s. Yes, Ken, but it's always been worried. When I was a kid, like I said, they used to have the duck and cover drill. Duck and cover. Get under the desk and put a book over your head. Like, yes, that'll save you from the nuclear blast. You're like 7, 8 years old. You're like, what? What's going on? That's how we fucking. I never forget this. This is kind of off the subject, but not really, because it's about school. Remember you were in school, you have all these group activities like that. Like they say, oh, we got a fire drill, and everybody walk outside. Or, there you go, oh, duck and cover, you do the duck and cover. And sometimes they would do cool stuff like, hey, we're going to show you a movie. So they told us all, I think I was in like the 3rd grade. They said to us all, hey, come into the gymnasium. We're gonna show you all a movie. And they took us all in there, like a whole elementary school kids. Got us all in the fold up chairs, sitting there, and just put the screen out, start showing us a movie. It was Old Yeller. And I don't know if you've ever seen Old Yeller. But it's like a feel-good family movie about a boy and his dog, right? For about an hour and 45 minutes. And then at the end of the movie, the boys get attacked by, I don't know, so I forget, but it's a bear or a wolf or so, I don't know. But the boys get attacked by some animal. And Yeller comes and, of course, he saves the boy. And then they're like, oh no, Yeller's got the rabies. Then they go, well, there's only one thing for it. And the boy's like, what? He's like, yep, got to put him down. And he's like, what do you mean, Mama? He's like, yep, got to shoot him. And he's like, no, Paul, let me do it myself. He's my dog. And then he goes, and he walks up. This is a Disney movie, by the way, but for children. He fucking Christy Gnomes the dog. He fucking shoots him with his shotgun. It's like, oh, Yeller, I love you. Boom. And right there, the whole elementary school, a gymnasium full of elementary school kids was like, ah! It's like, what in the fuck are you doing? Showing a bunch of young kids this fucking terrible movie. What is the lesson of this movie? I've been, it's been going over and over in my mind for years and years and years. Like, what is the fucking traumatizing children? I said for 50 years now, I've been thinking about that. Like 45 years, maybe. I mean, they're like, well, what does it mean? It's like, besides, sometimes you got to shoot your dog. It's like, That's what made the Chrissy Dope thing even worse. Is that the dog didn't even have rabies or nothing. She just didn't want it anymore. So instead of giving it back to whoever she got it from, or taking it to the SPCA, or maybe some family might adopt the fucking dog or whatever. Nope, she just drug it out to the gravel pit, and shot it in the face, and then was like, you know what? I don't like that goat either. Went got the goat, killed it too. And became governor of South Dakota and the Homeland Security Secretary. Yeah, the only good thing, one of the only good stories I've seen lately is that Christy Dome, I guess, after she got fired from Homeland Security, she tried to go back to South Dakota, was like, well, I'll just go back to South Dakota, get back into politics. And they were like, nope. Voters don't want her no more. It's like, thank God. Why they ever wanted her in the first place, I have no idea. It's like this guy Pratt, Spencer Pratt, that's running for L.A. mayor. He's some guy who was like a villain on the reality show called The Hills, which is, The Hills is all about a bunch of Beverly Hills fucking jerk off rich kids, and he was the asshole one. Now he's running for mayor of L.A. And he's got all these slick videos, and he's always sharing and produce AI videos that are complete bullshit. And people are like, oh, he's resonating with people. You're like, this is what's wrong with our fucking country. It's not a serious country anymore. Right? I mean, it's an idiot nation. It's controlled by the television. It was funny, but I went and saw The Mandalorian yesterday, and it was really good. But I do agree, though. You could tell that instead of making season 4 of The Mandalorian, they just took all those scripts and cut them down into one big story. Because it would have just been, well, how many of the Disney seasons of like half hours? 8 of them. What's that supposed to mean? Anyway, so they cut it down. But anyway, so all the conservatives are crying, all over the internet, because all the conservative movement is but crying about everything. Constantly. What's that? Like, we're alpha males, but goddamn it, the Star Wars movie's woke, and defends my alpha male sensibilities so much. You're like, you guys seem like a bunch of crybaby bitches to me. All you do is cry all the time. It's just on my Facebook page is all you scroll down, like, I guess because the algorithm knows I like politics, so they feed me all this politics bullshit. I keep getting Clay Travis. Clay Travis. He used to be a shitty sports take guy. Now he's a shitty politics take guy. He used to have a sports show called Outkick the Coverage, right? That was on Fox Sports Radio. But then that show went off, and he started this thing just called Outkick, right? And it just Outkick is just them crying about everything. It's politics, constantly. And they were the ones that were crying about Star Wars and shit. It was like, dude, you should just call this Outcry, because all you do is fucking cry constantly about everything. And then something will happen, right? Like Jackson Dart from the Giants. He introduced Donald Trump the other day at some event, so people were giving him shit. Like, hey, man, you probably shouldn't do that because Donald Trump's very unpopular. Just like if let's say it was a Democrat president and some athlete introduced him, right? Clay Travis will be crying about that. He'd be like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Keep shut up and play the game. That's what they always say. But now, because it's Trump, they're like, whoa, you lay off of him. It's done. He's the president of the United States. They're such hypocritical fucks. They don't even see like how hypocritical they really are. It's like, you just watch conservative media. It's the most ridiculous fucking bullshit. If you take your partisan blinders off and really look at it, they cry about shit that they cry about all the fucking time. And that's the problem is we're not talking about ideas anymore. It's all personal attacks and bullshit. It's all a reality TV show circus. Nobody's having substantive debates. So I said this guy just got elected to Thomas Massey's House seat. Didn't debate one time. Never went on TV. Gave a stump speech where he lined out his agenda for the people of Kentucky and what he was going to do. Nope. Just like, I love Donald Trump and I'll do anything he says. And Trump says, vote for this guy. And they go, yeah. But it's totally not a cult. And they're free thinkers. Open-minded intellectuals. That's the problem. Is what's the mega? What mega really is a bunch of fucking losers that that have always been losers, and they've always. This is a conservative movement. Has always been a bunch of poor people and losers who look at these rich people and get convinced by the bullshit argument. Oh, if you just bootstrap up and you work real hard, you can become one of them. And like you can't become one of them, especially today. If you do come up with an idea that could make you rich. Instead of letting you become a billionaire, they'll come and buy it out for you. Now you'll get rich, but you won't own your idea anymore. That's another thing they do. People develop apps and such, right? So what happens? So someone develops a good app, right? And they go, hey, I can make a lot of money off this app. Apple comes and goes, hey, we'll give you $10 million right now for your app. And if you're somebody who comes from nothing, you go, well, yeah, and that's good. And you did become rich, but they took you out of the game to become a competitor to them. Don't you get that? That $10 million is nothing to them than to sideline you from competition. And that's what it's all about. A lot of people fall for that bullshit. I've always had a thing too, is like that there's a reason why, like when you watch these commercials, like I guess, I probably think too deep into things, but I believe it to be the case. It's a subliminal messaging when they have these characters like Flo from Progressive and all her buddies, and all they do is dress in their corporate uniforms all the time. They sell insurance, and they everywhere they go, they wear that uniform, they wear the apron on and everything. And then Doug from Liberty Mutual, he's got this thing on. It's like they want you to be conditioned to accept your corporate servitude. It's a like I said, it's a subliminal mind game that they play. They do it with all kinds of stuff. It's not just them. I just use them because they're two of the most famous type examples of these types of characters. But there's always a guy. When the Domino's pizza guy's dressed up with his Domino's pizza, and he looks like he's happy as fuck to be delivering pizzas. He's like. Like Flo, she loves the shirts. She loves the shirts. She loves selling shirts so much. She got Progressive on her car. She got Progressive on her thing. When she's jogging, she got a Progressive jogging suit. Like she never takes off her work clothes. And the truth is, if you live next to someone like that, you'd be like, this person's fucking insane. There's that woman again. She never takes off her work clothes. How you doing? I'm good. Don't talk to me. This is crazy. Yes, Ken, it's a brainwashing machine. All the media is. Like I said, the right-wing media is worse because they don't see the correlation between the way they sow hatred towards like Muslims, for example, or LGBT or trans people. They don't see the correlation when violence happens to those people that they contributed to that. But see, they don't think that. They don't put those things together because the conservatives aren't very good at cause and effect. They have this rigid set of fantastical ideas that are separate from actual reality, right? But then they try to force reality into this box that they have created for themselves and how they think that things should be. But things really aren't like that and are never going to be like that. And when they were like that, they were only like that because of, like I said, when women had to be quiet or they get slapped around, violence. When they lost the ability to use violence to enforce their will on people, people started becoming what they were going to become. See, the only thing that was stopping that was the system. Like when gay people weren't allowed to be gay openly, they were still gay people. There were secret clubs and whatever. And that's why gay people do weird things like meet in the bushes and shit. Because they had to. They had to hide. You couldn't go to a hotel and two guys rent a room together. People would. So what they do? They go to the park and they fuck in the bushes. Or the bathroom or whatever. But that truck stops. That's that's why all that stuff exists. Because the oppression of the society. And you lift that oppression, and the people are allowed to be what they want. And you see, it's like society's still around. They always tell you that something is a grave threat to society. If you allow this to go forth, it will destroy society as we know it. That's what they said about marijuana for a long time. Right? Remember that? If you let pot is a gateway to heroin and all this other stuff. If you legalize pot, it'll be mayhem and chaos. They were like, no, it wouldn't. And it isn't. You see, now it's mostly legal. Society's still here. Gay marriage, oh no! You let the gay people get married. Society as we know it will collapse. Has it collapsed? No. Because, again, conservatism is bullshit. Now, I don't mind, like I said, conservative fiscal positions, talking about tax policy or how you think that our dollars should be spent, like the people who are in charge right now call themselves conservatives. And you see how much money they're spending. These are not fiscal conservatives. These are Christian nationalists, fascist conservatives. They don't give two shits about fiscal responsibility. Use the waste, fraud, abuse thing as a as a bullshit smokescreen to hide what they're doing. Meanwhile, like I said, can you imagine this? They cut all that government. Right? Remember Trump and the Doge and Musk? They were talking about how much money they're going to save us. They're going to save us so much money. And they cut all that stuff out of the government. And even with all that stuff gone, we're still running massive deficits, record-setting deficits. So what does that tell you? That the whole thing was bullshit. That's what it tells me. I don't know about you. Most people blown right by it. Don't even think about it anymore. That's why I said, because American people are like a baby with the shiny keys, just like, hey, what was that? Well, let's look at this Epstein file. Hey, wait, look over here. There's a war in Iran. Whoa. It's like, now you're not talking about that anymore. The problem is there's so much shit. And Trump has gotten, like I said, he's gotten so comfortable with them just letting him do whatever he wants. And now he's crossing lines that even they're like, hey, wait a minute, like this $1.776 billion fund to pay off his friends. Like even Republicans are like, hey, wait a minute, man. Like, $1 billion ballroom. That's why I said there was a guy that thought he was Jesus, some mentally ill guy. shot some guns up by the White House. And immediately Trump's like, this is why we need a ballroom. Which implies that he's just going to spend his every day in that deep bunker in the ballroom under the ground. We need it. Because he was in the White House and Secret Service was there. They handled the situation. He doesn't need that ballroom. He wants it bad. Because that's why I said he wants to put his stamp on the White House. What's up, Brokey? How are you? It's been a while. I figured you'd come back around here. Yeah, he wants it. He wants it because I said he wants to put his stamp on the White House. He wants a big Trumpy looking fucking structure next to the White House that's grander than the White House. You know, look at the beauty White House and look at Trump's ballroom. And from now into perpetuity, like I said, they got to say his name, and it'd be like, oh, Donald J. Trump Memorial Ballroom. I'm okay, Brokey, but we've been through this before. Not a Jew. You can pretend I won if it makes you feel better. I was just talking about that, how no one's called me a Jew for quite some time now. And here you come, broke the street. It's like, I have not touched my not a Jew sign. And I swear to God, over a month now. I did the announcer curse. Or like last time I mentioned it. And then here you come. That's like, how you doing, Jew? I'm doing okay. Yes, it is the outgoing Joe. So I said that's why I had to have a sign. It's I still just can't. Every day that this goes on, I still can't believe that this is just going on and that no one's really going to do anything about it. And tonight in Texas, Ken Paxton. I don't know if you know who Ken Paxton is, but he's like a foghorn leghorn looking motherfucker with like a lazy eye. It's like, and he's been impeached, and he's the Attorney General of Texas. He's been through all kinds of scandals. He's had political money scandals. He cheated on his wife. But he's ultra mega. Just the kind of guy Trump likes, you know. So he endorsed him over the incumbent senator who's in the Senate right now, John Cornyn. Yes, kid, I saw that RFK with the snakes. You know the funniest part about that video is, did you hear it with the sound on? You can hear Cheryl Hines going, "Oh no, honey, what are you doing?" It sounds like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. But, and again, you wonder, how did Cheryl Hines end up in this, with this fucking person? Is she really that shallow? I mean, I guess she is. And then she was on The View. She was bitching. My mom watches The View. Cheryl Hines was on The View bitching. Like, yeah, lost all my friends. No one talks to me anymore. It's like, yeah, no shit. You think Larry David never gonna hang out with you? Said dancing. These are uber Hollywood liberals. You fucking married the anti-vaccine guy who drinks raw milk, swims in shit sewage water, and hot tubs with Kid Rock. You think that your Hollywood liberal friends aren't just gonna be like, I don't want to talk to Cheryl no more. Larry probably wishes he could take her off the show. The show's over, but still, it's like Jesus Christ, if I would have known that. We never casted this bitch. Yeah. It was pretty funny. The snakes were like whipping around, and Cheryl's going, "Oh no, honey, stop!" You're like, this guy's fucking nuts. Brokey says, I must be carrying a length. I'm always happy and laughing. Yeah, I've been through the times in my life when I wasn't. You get to a point where you're like, hey man, you gotta try to enjoy this shit as much as you can, even when it doesn't seem like it's good. You gotta try to find the good, even when things are bad. I know that sounds cliche and trite, but I found it to be true. My life changed completely when I decided that I wasn't going to worry about the things I can't control. Now, if I'm doing something and I fail, like personally fail, I feel that I get depressed or whatever, I get bummed out, or things don't work out the way you want. But like I used to be the kind of guy, like if my car broke down, I'd be like, ah, and my blood pressure would go up, I'd get all crazy. Why does this happen to me? To be banging on the fucking, and like that's crazy. You can't control it. Now my car breaks down, I go, oh man, I pull over, go, oh shit, all right, well, I guess I'll call AAA or if I have it, or call Progressive, maybe roadside assistance, or whatever. But I was like, you got to just start doing what you do. Or I call my dad, be like, hey, man, I need some help. And I wait for them to come, and I don't stress out. I don't, it's like, you're going to have a stroke or give yourself a heart attack, stressing out about things that you can't control. 90% of life is things you can't control. I don't even get that stress out of work anymore. Yeah, that helps. I will admit. It does help. But I smoked even back then. No, I'm talking about my whole attitude towards life change. Like, I used to be angry. Like, when I was in my 20s, I was an angry young man. That's why I was in a metal band, screaming, like, all the time. Ah! Primals, like I said, screaming, like, I'm not kidding. But I'm not that angry anymore. It's just kind of melted off, Doing comedy helped. I will say, it did help. It gave me an outlet that wasn't as intense. And it gives you, then you start, when you're doing comedy, you write in comedy, you got to start looking for the funny stuff. So then you start to realize, like, even bad things have a funny side. And then you start to your attitude starts to, loosen up. Brokey says, I tried it once, didn't have any effect. Just get some better shit, bro. I don't know where you live, but we get together, I'll get you some. I promise it'll work. It's like there are people that they say there are people that doesn't work on them. I don't know. I've been smoking since I was young. Like, my parents were hippies. I was exposed early age. If the government found out the way I was raised, my parents would have been sent to jail. I'm not even kidding. But back then it was much, much cooler. Everything was cooler. If you had a 12-year-old, there was lots of people that were like that. If you have a 12-year-old, be like, oh, you want to try his first beer? They'd laugh and let you try a beer. Brokey said I was in Amsterdam. It made the wife happy. Right. Well, then it probably was good. Then you probably are one of those people. But see, if it doesn't work smoking, eat it. Keep trying. You'll find it. You'll find a way. Ken says you got to get the ivory. No, like I said, Brokey, if it doesn't work smoking, then take a gummy or something. Like, if you eat it, probably work. Because some people metabolize things differently, and they say some people that when they smoke, it doesn't affect them. But if you eat it, probably affect you. So try that. Get a brownie or a cookie or a gummy. What's up, Si? How are you? You always calling me Walter White. If you're gonna call me something, I'll take that. Damn, that was such a good show, wasn't it? They don't make shows like that like all the time. That's what it means. Like there's not that many like all time greats. So they really fucked up Arrested Development because that was all time great. And then they did that big long hiatus, and then they came back and it wasn't as good. They lost the mojo. Roki says, "Yeah, true. I'm a fella." Yeah, exactly. No, that's why I said, eat it. I'm sure you can find a way to make it work. Or at least try that. Because I've heard that before. Some people say that. They say, "Oh, I smoke, it don't do nothing, but if I eat it, I get high." And the opposite. Some people be like, "Oh, I can eat it, it don't do nothing." But if you smoke it, it works. But for me, I get high either way. Now that I'm older, though, I don't really like gummies. They knock me out. When I go to sleep, it's like a coma. It's like I'll be sleeping too hard. It's like anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. If you just stumbled upon this show today, thank you, Side. I appreciate that. As I said, I've always had an unusual voice and an unusual laugh. People have always said that, and I am aware. And my voice has changed a lot over the years because I said a lot of smoking and screaming in bands and all this other shit. It's a lot rougher than it used to be. But it was always weird to begin with, so it's just got layers and more layers of weird piled on top of it, with all the mileage. Anyway, if you just stumbled upon this show today, please like the channel, subscribe to the show. I'm here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. If you want to send me a private message, it's Bruce Leonard Leans Left at Outlook.com. Again, I don't know how long this is going to go on. This war, this not a war. The peace, it's not a peace. I don't think there's any way to know. It's like the 90 deals of 90 days. How many deals came? I don't believe there was one. Thank you, Brokey. I appreciate that, but I don't do 3-hour Joe Rogan shows. I do stay longer sometimes if we're having a big discussion, but nobody was really discussing anything today. We were just kind of hanging out. So, or people are actually interested in what I was saying, which is fucking unusual. So it says, "I want what you smoke." Well, come on over. The more the merrier. I said, I'm from the old school. Sharing is caring, my friends. Like I said again, I'm here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. Like I said, if you like the show, tell your friends. Put it on your social media. I need more viewers, all the subscribers I can get. Yeah, that's right, Brokey. Why can't we all get along? That's another reason why I'm here. I said I talk to all kinds of people here, and I don't run them off. Although I had the feeling that Jimmy really left because that dude. I'm sad about that. But yes, Side, billions must love. That is true. That's what we need. So let's get on it. Bring some people here. We'll discuss it. I said again, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. If you've been watching, thank you very much. I love you guys. And go out. Enjoy your night. Watch the Spurs game. It's going to be good. These playoffs have been good, actually. And I'll be back on Thursday at 6 p.m. Thank you very much. Good night.
Hey, everybody. If there was something new to see, I guarantee I'd be the first to be standing there bathed in that light. Until that day I'll keep my eyes shut tight. I do not want to